What's hiding underneath things can be scary. Underwater, under your bed, especially what's under your carpet. Except when you get new carpet from Carpet One Floor and Home. After tearing up your old carpet, they'll vacuum and apply Health Annex antimicrobial to your subfloor, disinfecting and killing mold, mildew, and any remaining general awfulness. Carpet One Floor and Home goes the extra mile to protect you, your family, and your home. Carpet One Floor and Home in Columbia, making your home beautiful, guaranteed.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on this Tuesday, March the 21st. This is the first full day of spring, and this is a good topic to talk about. We're going to talk about wildflowers, and I want to introduce you to CAROL DAVIT. CAROL is with the Missouri Prairie Foundation. Pleasure to have you here, CAROL.
Thanks for having me.
And you work with Nadia.
I do.
Don't you? And this is a topic that we cover from time to time on this program, but it's wildflowers are native plants to Missouri. Very important for the environment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let's start with that. Why are the native plants so important to our local environment?
Well, when we talk about a native plant, what makes a plant native? It means a plant that's been here without and growing without human intervention. So plants here that we use that we have in Missouri have been here for thousands of years. They were used by Native Americans, and they are plants that we find that naturally occur in our original prairies and forests and wetlands.
And they have adapted to the environment.
Yes.
They can take the extreme heat that we have sometimes. They can take the drought that we have sometimes. Even though they look like they're dying, they can bounce back. It's when man intervenes that we tend to mess things up.
Well, native plants are really the foundation of nature's web of life, and that's one of the really important reasons for gardening with native plants.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. We've got some pictures of native plants, and if you're watching us on television, you'd see, but I want you to go ahead and describe for the listeners on the radio. The first one that we have, what is this?
Oh, this is a photograph of serviceberry. It is a native small tree of our woodlands, and in this photo it's in fruit, and the fruits are actually really tasty for people to eat, but usually the birds get them first, and we see a robin with one of the serviceberry fruits in its beak. Serviceberry.
Serviceberries?
Yes.
Okay, and it's a small tree, you said.
It's a small tree. In fact, it's a wonderful native tree to plant instead of the invasive non-native Callery pear or Bradford pear. But this photo where you see the robin with the fruit in its beak, it just helps illustrate how fruits from our native trees and shrubs are really important for wildlife.
For the wildlife. How large will this tree get?
Maybe about 20, 30 feet tall.
So you say instead of planting Bradford pear, which a lot of folks do, plant this one.
It's one that you could plant.
Okay.
Bread buds, dogwoods, those are other smaller native trees that are great to plant.
Yeah.
Maybe the service, it might not be quite that tall, but it's an understory tree, so it'd be really nice for a front yard.
Right. Then we've got the Aster here.
Yes.
That attract the butterflies.
Yes, this is a New England aster. It blooms in the fall, and it's got beautiful purple blooms.
Yeah.
And you see a monarch butterfly there getting nectar. And another reason why native plants are so important is they provide pollen and nectar for adult insects, bees, native bees, and butterflies like this monarch butterfly.
Now, the aster grows to about 3 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet tall.
There's many different species of asters. This is one that's a bit taller, so it's better like in the back of a bed.
Yeah. I've got a lot of those growing in the field. And sometimes they look spindly, but they're very beautiful, too.
Oh, they're beautiful, yes.
Yeah. Then you've got the evening primrose. And this is something that is amazing, that you can sit there and literally watch the buds open up as the sun goes down.
That's right.
It's like watching time-lapse photography.
You can even put your hands around it to simulate darkness, and you can watch it opening up in your in the darkness of your hand.
Now, I remember years ago, I had some friends over, and they're from the city. I don't think they really appreciated it. And I said, now we're going to go out, and we're going to watch the evening primrose open up. And we just stood there, and they said, well, this is like watching grass grow. But you just stand there, and it's amazing. As the sun goes down and it gets darker, the little petals start to open up, and there you've got a beautiful bloom. And they're there all night long and stay open until the sun hits them the next day.
Yeah, they're a beautiful flower, and this is one that does really well in dry, rocky soil. It's native to our glades in Missouri. Glades are like mini deserts that we have often in the Ozarks within woodland openings. So if you have a gravelly area around your house or really dry soil, you can try
They don't need a lot of water.
No, they don't. So
Yeah.
this is just an example of how these native plants are adapted to specific conditions.
I had a whole bed of those come up by themselves in the backyard a couple of years ago, and they were a showpiece. They were absolutely gorgeous. The next year, they didn't come up. So they kind of have a mind of their own that they move around to where they want to go.
Some do. Now, you had mentioned before about how the aster could get maybe a little leggy.
Yeah.
There are things you can do to really kind of manicure your native plants. So
Can you cut them back a little bit?
You can, and for flowers that are blooming in the fall, you can cut them back even by as much as half up until May, and they'll be more compact.
Okay.
And we have a lot of information about how you can maintain and select and design with native plants at grownative.org. GrowNative is a website and program of the Missouri Prairie Foundation.
Okay, we're almost out of time. I want you to mention there are going to be several events that people can purchase native plants, right?
Yes, we have a native plant sale coming up in just a few days in Jefferson City on March 25th.
That'll be where?
At Runge Conservation Nature Center in Jefferson City.
Okay.
And then we have 2 more native plant sales in mid-Missouri coming up. We have one at MU Bradford Farm on April 8th and at Bass Pro Shops in Columbia on May 20th. And all the information about these sales is at grownative.org.
So if you go to grownative.org, you will have the information about the sales, and will there be tips on there on how to take care of these native plants?
Yes, absolutely. And at the sales, we'll have a booth with information about native plants and free literature people can take home with them.
And I guess the best way to take care of native plants is put them in their native environment and leave them alone.
Well, yes, except you do need some care, just like you would care for any other landscape. You need to watch for weeds, and you can trim things back if you like. But yeah, they don't need fertilizer, and once they're established, they rarely need to be watered.
Yeah. I have so many wild daisies growing in the fields, and they just look beautiful. They look beautiful. They have been put there, I say, by the angels. So if you want more information, the website to go to is
grownative.org.
grownative.org, and it'll tell you about the sales for native plants and how to care for them. Carol, thank you so much for coming by. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much.
All right. We're out of time for today. If there's something you'd like to hear or see, I'd love to hear from you. Drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Have yourself a nice day. And when you go out, smile.